Okay, and what happened in October of 2023?
October 2023. I ran from the courthouse. I got scared about doing time because my first bid was very traumatic for me. And it was super traumatic for me. I got beat up and extorted, and I spent a lot of time in segregation and protective custody, more or less. It was just really traumatic for me. So I ran from the courthouse. My girlfriend told me to run straight home. So I ran straight home, and when I got there, I totally blacked out. I think I came to when I later in that day got arrested for we had a conflict of interest about where I was gonna stay when she got to the house after she left the courthouse too. She came and she's like, Ch0m, the cops are gonna come. And she like pretty much tried forcibly kicking me out of the house, and I pushed her, hit her a couple times and ran. And then she called me later on in the afternoon and told me where to go. But I was on my way to the location when she had already accidentally, like, she called the police on me.
Accidentally.
Well, not accidentally. She called the police and forgot she called the police on me. And I went from one location to the next to meet up with her and got caught. They arrested me. I did some time in crisis. I got out of crisis, and then I went back and hid at the place where she told me to hide. I stayed on the run for about a month and a half. I admitted myself to crisis 2 times during that month and a half for addiction reasons and to get my mind right. So I was not in my right mind at the time. I should have just did the time. They only wanted me to do 9 days in jail.
And y'all know what time it is. I mean, if you've been watching this long enough, you would know that anybody wearing the Ch0m0 necklace is likely going to have a dirty jacket, and he does. Maybe that's why his first bid was traumatic, but we're not here for his first bid. They don't talk about it, but I do have the scoop on it. I will go over it at the end of the hearing, but in a nutshell, he made to girls in high school do things to him, and he recorded it. Yeah. Anyways, as you can see, this prince, he's a keeper. We're going to go watch his parole hearing, just one of the many hearings that he has had in the past, because this is not his first time in prison, and I'll unpack it with the details at the end.
Sean Simpson, 395323. Good afternoon.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Ch0m Simpson, 395323. He is serving a sentence of 27 months for violation of probation, 2 counts of burglary, third, violation of protective order, and failure to appear first. As of the same records reflect the eligibility date of March 24th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs that are domestic violence. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism rating falls in the high range. There is also a static 99 score of a 2, which falls in the low to moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Go ahead, sir.
What is the question?
Why should we give you parole?
Well, I've taken accountability 100% for what I've done. It was wrong. I've worked very hard in the programs I've done here. I currently go to school, and I go to AA and stuff. I'm working very hard on my sobriety. My support system with my family is increasingly gained. I just, my first bid I did years ago, I didn't take prison seriously. I got out with the mindset like, oh, I'm gonna get out and party, this, that, and the third. And I was a kid. I was really naive and really stupid. And but this bid, I'm older. I'm 30 until I'm 33, and pretty much I did 15 months out of an 18-month probation sentence, and I almost completed it. I had an incident with a girlfriend. She cheated, and I relapsed, and it caused a series of events to occur after that where I take accountability for my actions. Like I did relapse, and it just caused me to go downhill. But now that I got significant clean time, my little brother just recently passed away. He was 20 years old, and he got in a street bike accident. And my other little sister just had a baby a week ago. It's just, I feel it's my time to step up and be the brother that I'm supposed to be, and really step up in my family and prove to everybody I got what it takes to be a productive citizen, more or less.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your statement. We're going to ask you some questions and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. Okay. We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Zarkov.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Simpson. Let's get a better sense as to why you're incarcerated. You had a burglary, well, you're on probation for burglary in 2021, right?
I sold a PS4 that was my girlfriend and I at the time, a shared PS4. I sold it without her permission, and she called the police and gave me a burglary third.
Okay, and what happened in October of 2023?
October 2023. I ran from the courthouse. I got scared about doing time because my first bid was very traumatic for me, and it was super traumatic for me. I got beat up and extorted, and I spent a lot of time in segregation and protective custody, more or less. It was just very traumatic for me. So I ran from the courthouse. My girlfriend told me to run straight home, so I ran straight home. And when I got there, I totally blacked out. I think I came to when I later in that day got arrested for we had a conflict of interest about where I was going to stay when she got to the house after she left the courthouse too. She came and she's like, Ch0m0, the cops are going to come. And she like pretty much tried forcibly kicking me out of the house, and I pushed her, hit her a couple times and ran. And then she called me later on in the afternoon and told me where to go. But I was on my way to the location when she had already accidentally, like, she called the police on me.
Accidentally.
Well, not accidentally. She called the police and forgot she called the police on me. And I went from one location to the next to meet up with her and got caught. They arrested me. I did some time in crisis. I got out of crisis, and then I went back and hid at the place where she told me to hide. I stayed on the run for about a month and a half. I admitted myself to crisis 2 times during that month and a half for addiction reasons and to get my mind right. So I was not in my right mind at the time. I should have just did the time. They only wanted me to do 9 days in jail, followed by reinstatement of probation. And I only had, like I said, I completed 15 months of an 18-month probation sentence, no dirty urines. I did all my mental health programs. I did all my other programs that was required through probation. I was actively finding work and working. So I don't know why I ran that day. That was just really, really, really dumb.
So in that case in 2023, there was a protective order in place already, right?
Yeah, when I got caught by the cops, she was bringing me food every day. Like, you can even ask my mom. She would bring me like water and supplies and food to make sure I could survive, because she was hiding me out at 102 Red Mountain Ave. That was her father's house that went into foreclosure. She was keeping me at this address so that way the cops wouldn't find me, more or less. She was coming to see me every day, bringing me food and water, and just making sure I was comfortable while I was hiding out.
Okay, and what happened in January of 2024? There was another burglary, right?
Well, I had already gotten locked up by this time. My addiction had caused me, so I was smoking crack in an old folks home in the staircase, and I really had to use the bathroom. And I knew this guy, Greg, and he lived on the 10th floor in 10B apartment. And I broke into his apartment to use the bathroom. and I cooked a DiGiorno pizza that I had brought with me, and then I ate, I did the dishes, and I left. But I broke the doorknob, and apparently, I caught a burglary threat for that. But I didn't steal anything. That was not my goal. My goal was just to find a safe haven for a little bit because I was homeless at the time and on the run from the police. Because of my addiction.
Okay, let's talk about what you've done in the facility. You've taken the DB program, right? What did you learn anything about yourself from that?
I definitely learned a lot about myself, about trauma, about how we carry resentments, and it's just never good to have conflict of interest. Communication is key, and if something like an argument is going to arise, if you can't talk about it, my best scenario would just be walk away, go on a walk, maybe go call somebody like my sponsor or my mom or my grandmother. She's a big support for me right now. My dad. Ever since I've gotten locked up, I've gotten significantly closer with my family, and that for me is huge because I really haven't had my family like my whole life. So the fact that they're willing to give me another chance is it's my stronghold right now. My dad says if I could get out either on parole or not on parole and get a license and a car, he's given me open arms to come back and live in upstate New York with him. For me, that was the best place for me. I never got in trouble when I lived in New York, not even remotely, not even at school. I was a straight A student in elementary and middle school and most of my high school years. But yeah, he's given me an ultimatum to buck up and be a man or stay in Connecticut and risk relapse or whatever, what may have you. I don't like Connecticut very much. It's people, places, and things tend to get people in trouble, but I just, it's too much. It's too fast paced living down here. I like the country. I like living out in the woods on a farm. I've done a lot of farm work in my life, and
All right, Mr. Simpson, I'm going to bring us back to the line of questioning. That's okay.
sorry.
Obviously, you've had some issues with heavy drugs. You would agree with that, right? You were enrolled in Tier 4 in the facility. What happened there?
Somebody had more or less threatened me to get off the phone because I was talking too loud to my mom, who just lost her best friend on the phone. I'm talking in a regular voice about this quiet, and you have to whisper. And I told him to just please leave me alone multiple times, and he took it as a threat, and he told on me. So when I told the superiors, like, yeah, I was talking on the phone in my regular voice because we were going through something on the phone with me and my mom, and she kept telling me, stop whispering, I can't hear you, stop whispering. So when I talked in my regular voice, he got mad and told on me, and I got kicked out of the program for not listening, threatening him, like indirectly. They said I indirectly threatened him to leave me alone.
What about all the tickets you've accumulated? Looks like you had 5, and you received 1 early this month
Yeah,
for fighting.
yeah.
What was that about?
Well, I've been bullied immensely at this facility. And it took honestly 10 years for me to snap, but this fight in particular, he kept calling me a and I am bisexual, which that really shouldn't be nobody's business but my own, but apparently everybody likes to talk about that in a place like this. So he could call me a and he kept saying that he was going to take my commissary every week until I go home, and if I didn't pay up, then he'd whoop my ass. And I said, I'm my dead brother, you're not going to do nothing to me. And then, excuse my language, he said, your mother and your dead brother, I'm taking everything you got. And I just, when I heard your dead brother, I just snapped and I did whoop him. I had to. It was either that or get whooped and get extorted from my commissary. You know, so my mom was actually proud of me because she knows I'm timid and a gentle giant, and she even said that you may have fucked up my parole by doing that, but at least you stood up for your brother, you know, because he just passed away. He's 20 years old, and he got in a street bike accident. He was on the news and everything. July 3rd. Hunter Loomis. He was in a street bike accident in Watertown.
Mr. Simpson, what is your plan to stay sober in the community?
Well, I actively was attending AA every night prior to being on the run. I have a huge support system in AA. The fellowship is like a big thing for me. My sponsor's name is, he's out of Bethlehem. The original plan was to go out on parole and go live with him, but he's having some family issues. I guess his daughter had an accidental overdose, and he's got 34 years sober, and she had like her whole life clean. So he was unaware of that. So that's what he told me and said, for the time being, I can't go stay with him, but he's more than willing to be an active role in my life. Like he's like a mentor and a father figure in a way. He's a really good man. He's like 70 years old. And then I got my grandma Marie. She's like not really my grandmother, but she's another older woman that my mom knows that we've called grandma over the years. She's a big part in my sobriety too. She says she'd come pick me up every day if I want, and we'll go work. She's a gardener. She's a master gardener. She gave my mom a company. That's my mom's company now, is the Barefoot Gardener. But she also has a thing on the side where we work together, and she's willing to not only just work with me and help me save my money to buy a car, but she's also willing to take me to meetings every day and help me stay sober.
You go to meetings in the facility, AA meetings, NA meetings?
Yeah, I do. Every Thursday, Friday morning, and Monday night.
All right, well, thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Zarko. Ms. Smith Dominic.
Thank you. So, Mr. Simpson, I read that you like going to treatment, that it's fun for
Yes.
you to go to treatment. Well, why do you do so poorly in treatment? Because you have a number of failures while you're on probation, while you've been in the facility. Why do you think you struggle to finish the programs?
Well, for me, when I was on the street, a lot of that had to do with my girlfriend. Like at the time, I don't do well in relationships. I just need to stay single and work. Like I want my new relationship to be about taking care of Ch0m0 and Ch0m's needs for once. Like I said, I'm 33 years old. I've been very codependent my whole life. And that's one thing I've learned this bit is not to be so codependent and really focus on myself.
Okay, so you don't finish treatment or you struggle with treatment and relapse because of your relationships?
More or less, I'm very like codependent and like, you know, she says, don't go to your appointment, or I'm going to throw a hissy fit. I'm not going to go because then I risk becoming homeless because my girlfriend kicks me out for the night because now I went to my appointment and didn't take care of her needs.
Okay. All right. I don't have, you're in the MAT program now?
Yes.
All right. Excellent. How's that going for you?
Great, but I'm working on getting off the MAT program. Like I've been going down significantly every so many days, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, good for you.
I want to get off.
All right. Have you ever been on the MAT program before?
I have been on it before, but I transitioned from methadone to Suboxone. But I would like to just get off everything finally once and for all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson, you have a lot of work to do. Do you understand that?
I 100%. I know I do.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I hear a lot of immaturity. I hear a lot of excuses. You're 33 years old. You have to stop blaming everybody else and take some responsibility. You know, my colleague mentioned that there was a protective order in place, and you went on to describe all the different ways that you were violating it as if it was okay because your girlfriend wanted to have contact with you. A court order is court order. Nobody cares if your girlfriend wants to have contact. Right. Like if she tells you to go jump off a bridge, are you going to do that?
I since broke up with the girl, I want nothing to do with her. I just want to
But
take care of
again, see, you're blaming her when they were your decisions.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have a lot of mental health, and I wasn't really there at the time with my addiction with myself.
Well, you can't use drugs. And when you have mental health issues and you're supposed to be taking care of yourself, you can't use drugs, right?
Yes, right.
You have to stick with a relapse prevention plan and a program and treatment that's designed to help you. As my colleague mentioned, you haven't followed through. You're still in problem sexual behavior treatment for an offense from years ago because you can't finish because you keep violating your probation.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I really want to get out on parole because I want to take advantage of what parole has to offer while I'm transitioning back into society. Because I'm afraid if I max out and I don't have that stepping stone of somebody helping me with structure, I will fail.
I understand that, but our decision's based on what you're doing now, right? This is all we have to look at. And when you last 2 weeks in the best program DOC has to offer for people with addiction problems, that's a red flag for us. You understand? You lasted 2 weeks in the Tier 4 program, and you're picking up these tickets for fighting. You know, even your DV program, yeah, you finished it. We got a note from the facilitator saying you showed up all the time late for class. When you get convicted of an offense because you beat up your girlfriend and bite her arm, you should be waiting in line for the class to start. Why are you showing up late?
They didn't call it a lot of the times in my program, but I made my best effort to get to the class.
You know what happens when you show up late for work?
You get fired.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just do whatever you want. You've been fired quite a few times, right? You have to get organized. You have to get it together, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case, and we'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Where did we sit?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Zarkov.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Ch0m0 accumulated quite a number of concerning convictions here.
Yeah, I know.
During sex 4 when he was younger, he rates high for risk to recidivate. His alcohol and drug score is 5.
Yeah.
He's not taking a tier program. He had that opportunity and he was removed from the program for failure to comply.
I've been trying to get back in for months, but they
All
just
give
right,
us a
so
few minutes.
Mr. Simpson, I'm going to ask you not to interrupt us now. Your time is over, okay? We're deliberating amongst ourselves. Thank you.
Oh, I apologize.
All right.
He was on probation at the time of the offense, came up with new charges. And then you factor all the disciplinary tickets that we have here, including one just earlier this month. Don't like the Fed sentence here, but I also don't know that he's going to do great in supervision given his history. So I'm not going to be in favor of this pressure for all.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, comment?
I do not have Mr. Simpson granted parole today. I do think he should use the remainder of his time, which isn't much,
Right.
to try and maybe get into Tier 2, because I don't think he can finish Tier 4.
Right.
Continue with the MAP program and the treatment that goes with it. And there are a lot of reentry programs available to Mr. Simpson, whether he's on supervision or not.
Yes.
So,
All right. So, I mean, there are so many reasons that we can use, but what would we like to narrow it down to? Mr. Zarkov, what are your thoughts?
For institutional adjustments,
Yeah,
inadequate institutional program participation, poor performance on community supervision.
I'm fine with those. You okay with that?
sure.
In the matter of Sean Simpson, inmate number 395323, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons. Inadequate program participation, poor institutional adjustment, the tickets, and poor performance while on community release. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We couldn't grant you parole, sir, but we wish you the best. Keep working on yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He beats up his girlfriend and he bites her, but his mother says that he's a gentle giant. He's timid. She's proud of him, even though it will affect his parole, that he stood up for her and her brother. I mean, I guess you can see the acorns don't fall far from the tree. And this guy, what a man-child, a Ch0m0 man-child, very scary, this kind of jacket that he has. I'll go over the initial crime that they didn't touch on, that you can't even see. The crazy thing is, even with his crime, because Connecticut, they have this thing where they like to just like remove from someone's jacket what they did more than 10 years ago, which is insane. It's a woke agenda that they have. So you can't even see it when you look up his official prison record. You only can see it in the news. And now we'll make sure that it will forever be in the news what it is that he did to get locked up initially. And it is interesting hearing about, look, and I actually hear what he's saying. I think he was in a tough spot there when the guy is saying, hey, give me your money, and then, so he's gonna be, he's has to be extorted. They know he's got a dirty jacket, he's walking around with a Ch0m0 necklace. He thinks he's so clever, but really it's a dead giveaway. It's almost 95 at least percent of the time it means you have a dirty jacket. That's the funniest thing. It's like, do they not realize that walking around, they might as well hold a sign that says, "My jacket is dirty. Come extort me and take my commissary money." I mean, he really doesn't need the commissary money. It looks like he can use a little bit without it. It might be a little healthier for him, but he that's what's gonna happen when you're kind of coming up for parole anyways. He didn't, I don't, I mean, I've seen plenty of, like 23 and 1 or some other channels where they'll talk about this stuff, but he could have just ignored him. If you get hit, you fight back, but don't get I wonder what the outcome of that fight was. I am curious. It's like I almost want to give him credit for throwing down because he's not picking on just women and children. But I don't I don't know. I wonder what happens. Anyways, let me go the funny part before I do it. When he's facing 9 days in jail and he runs out of the courtroom, and then he says his girlfriend told on him but didn't. He's like, he's had a hard time, like, but she forgot she told on him, and then she was only bringing me food and water. It was like, wow. And then the story, the way he manipulates it. Oh, I broke into this man's apartment, ate, ended the dishes. I guess I broke the doorknob, but and the way he just writes that off like nonchalantly, it's like, imagine coming home and your doorknob is broken and you found out this vagabond downstairs, Ch0m0, was in your apartment without you there, and he's just, I don't know why. I went in there. And I wonder if he did the dishes. I mean, why would you even use, like, would you use a dish when you have pizza? You have the pizza box. Unless, like, no, he's such a gentle giant. He was just doing the dishes. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's something in the water. He left New York, went to Connecticut, and this is what happened. Guys, don't drink the water. So let me just show you what this innocent little man child baby did all the way back in 2011. What's his good time date? Some of you might be wondering. His good time date is March 11, 2026. So he's getting out, not good time, his full term date. He's getting out anyways in just 4 months or so. An 18-year-old man has been charged with this for two students and another female. So three victims. So, you know, what was it? He had a moderate to low risk score. Among the evidence collected against the suspect, Sean Simpson, are videos of him. Videos. They have video evidence. To perform according to an arrest warrant. Simpson was arraigned Monday to Superior Court. He is charged with 3 counts of first-degree SA, third-degree SA, 2 counts of first-degree kidnapping, second-degree strangulation, accessory to strangulation, very counts of conspiracy. His custody with Bunke is scheduled to return June 28th. A second man allegedly involved in the assault, 18-year-old Samir Bates, has not been charged. Bates had attended classes at Harvard High School with one of the victims in 2010. The warrant states she and a friend of hers, she and a friend of hers went to his apartment on. This is not just me. This is poorly written, right? I mean, this is like a poorly written article. Both victims, who were about 16, so they might have been 15, right, told the police Bates and Simpson forced them to perform, kept them from leaving the apartment, and recorded some of it with a cell phone. Police seized several phones from Simpsons and Bates. One of the phones contains video of the assault against one of the victims, who was heard saying no repeatedly. Both Simpson and Bates are suspects in a SA that occurred at Bates' apartment in February. The victim told police she had ended the relationship with Bates, stopped by her apartment to collect the belongings. She said that both Bates and Simpsons SA'd her. She said she attempted to leave the apartment several times, but Bates and Simpsons prevented her from leaving by blocking the door. The warrant does not say how old the victim was. So let's just clear this up. He was a suspect in that essay of his ex-girlfriend, and he was charged with the essay because here they have the phone evidence of these two victims. I don't know how much time he ended up getting. He did go to prison. But it's these agenda-driven, psychopathic, dangerous DAs and judges that when they're holding the royal flush, they say, well, he's just a nice little boy, right? He it's not so bad. Surely we should just like, I don't know. I guess they did give him prison. Ultimately, I don't know. I don't know how much prison time, because again, the Department of Corrections does not let me see those records. The only records that they'll show me are his burglary 3rd degrees. Like that's what he's in for. Burglary 3rd degree. And I guess he has other offenses, but this is all I can see when I pull up his record, which is just insane to me. Let me just search one more time because it's hard to even believe that this is actually true. Oh wait, there is 2 more. There is 2 more. Let me see what they say. Let's see. Violation of the protection order. Okay, they're showing me that. That was 10/31/2023. Failure to appear 1st degree. That was 11/1/2023. So a month later, he gets he gets a free for it. He gets 20 months jail for that. 27 months. Burglary 3rd degree sentence 3 years, but suspended probation 18 months. That's 2021. Violation of probation is 27 months. Again, he gets the 2 first. This is, and then the 2 burglary 3rd degrees. But again, we don't have any of the other offenses in his jacket. It doesn't show it. But how crazy is that? Again, it's like the gimmick. He gets to do all these additional felonies. Burglary 3rd is a felony. And even though he was backing 3 years jail, he still was only sentenced to 3 years jail. Not even 27 months. Again, we know it's all a gimmick. We know that Connecticut is a gimmick sentencing guideline. It's not just Connecticut, it's probably every state. Maybe not for Louisiana. Louisiana's pretty tough. But there you have it. A Manbaby, Ch0m0, and I think he checked all the boxes. Really did. It's not every day you can get someone to check all the boxes. But hey, maybe his mommy will be proud that he did check all the boxes. And with that, I'll let you go.
And he kept saying that he was going to take my commissary every week until I go home. And if I didn't pay up, then he'd whoop my ass. And I said, I'm my dead brother. You're not going to do nothing to me. And then, excuse my language, he said, your mother and your dead brother, I'm taking everything you got. And when I heard your dead brother, I just snapped and I did whoop him. I had to. It was either that or get whooped and get extorted from my commissary. So my mom was actually proud of me because she knows I'm timid and a gentle giant. And she even said that you made up my parole by doing that, but at least you stood up for your brother.